Hi readers, welcome back to my channel, Lila Wanders and Reads, and welcome to my weekend book. Lee here, and I'm kind of a sweaty mess. Also have a stain on my shirt. I took a walk in the neighborhood since it's fall now, and it was warmer than I thought it would be, and then I cooked dinner and splashed sauce on myself. That's how I've been rolling lately. Anywho, welcome back to my first video in weeks, maybe even a month, shot with my camera as opposed to my phone because my camera unexpectedly died and wouldn't turn back on for several weeks. I don't know what happened, but it's working now in theory. Anywho, this week I read 4 books and they were all relatively light, and I needed that because I spent the first 2 weeks of October reading long chunkers of books. They were like this thick and it took a week and some change to read each of them. So I started this week with Riley Sager's Home Before Dark. This was a book club selection, and I didn't know it. I thought because of the color scheme that this was a more recent book that I had DNF'd, but turns out I read this in 2020 and I remembered nothing of it. Zero. Even when I reread it, I did not remember a thing. That's how easily it was erased from my mind. Maggie Holt doesn't believe... Oh, shit. Let me start at the beginning. Bells that ring themselves, record players that turn on and play music to empty rooms, ghosts that climb out of wardrobes. Maggie Holt doesn't believe in any of these things, even though they are the details of the story that made her family famous. 25 years ago, she and her parents, Ewan and Jess, moved into Bainbury Hall, a rambling Victorian estate in the Vermont woods. They spent 20 days there before fleeing in the dead of night, an ordeal Ewan later recounted in a horror memoir, House of Horrors. His tale of ghostly happenings and encounters with malevolent spirits became a worldwide phenomenon, rivaling the Amityville Horror in popularity and skepticism. Maggie has lived her life in the shadow of her father's book, so when she inherits Bainbury Hall after his death, she returns to renovate the house to prepare it for sale. However, her homecoming is anything but warm. People from the past, chronicled in the House of Horrors, lurk in the shadows, literally. And locals aren't thrilled that their small town has been made infamous thanks to Maggie's father. Even more unnerving is Bainbury Hall itself, a place filled with relics from another era that hint at a history of dark deeds. As Maggie experiences strange occurrences straight out of Ewan's book, she starts to wonder if what he wrote was more fact than fiction. Alternating between Maggie's uneasy homecoming and chapters from her father's book, Home Before Dark is the story of a house with long-buried secrets and a woman's quest to uncover them, even if the truth is far more terrifying than any haunting. I don't remember what I felt about this the first time around because I didn't leave it a review on Goodreads. This time I did. 3.5 stars, rounded up to 4, because I just had a good time with it, trying to figure things out. I felt like there were some things that didn't quite connect with me at the end of the book. Almost everything was wrapped up, but I had one thing that I think would have made an interesting twist, but it never panned out. Anywho, everybody else in book club who read it really liked it as well. We did like that it was twisty and you couldn't guess what was going on. So if you're in the mood for a good mystery and you don't mind children being in danger, because a child is in danger, multiple, in this book, I highly recommend it. Next up, I'm trying to build a buffer back up. I used to have a 2-week buffer for my shorts, and the 2 long books cut that buffer down to just a couple of days. So I'm trying to get that built back up a little bit so I can read a book that lasts more than one night. So the next 3 books, one night each. The first was Undercover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. This is part of a series, and I've given myself the permission to read the series out of order because it doesn't matter. And I'm usually a in order kind of girl, but I needed something light. Undercover Bromance seemed to be just that. In that, Liv Papandreou has her dream job as a sous chef at Nashville's hottest restaurant. Too bad the celebrity chef owner is less than charming behind kitchen doors. After she catches him harassing a young hostess, she confronts him and gets fired. Liv vows revenge, but she'll need assistance to take on the powerful chef. Unfortunately, that means turning to Braden Mack. When Liv's blackballed from the restaurant scene, the charismatic nightclub entrepreneur offers to help her expose her ex-boss, but she's suspicious of his motives. He'll need to call in reinforcements, the Bromance Book Club. Inspired by the romantic suspense novel they're reading, the book club assists Liv in setting up a sting operation to take down the chef. But they're just as eager to help Mac figure out the way to Liv's heart, even though she's determined to squelch the sparks between them before she gets burned. I really enjoyed this. I gave this one 4 stars as well. This one had me laughing out loud, and I love a good rom-com that makes me laugh out loud. Oh God, I actually literally wrote LOL right here because of a scene with the chicken. And this was fun. I have read one other in this bromance book series, the first. This is not the first. And then when I was finished with this, I decided I wanted to read another in the series. And I felt kind of in a Christmassy mood, which is going to last for 2 books, and then next week I'll be off Christmas. But I went with A Very Merry Bromance, which I think is the last in the series. There were like 5 or 6 books, so I've got 2 or 3 others, 3, I can't count, to read. I did not like this one as well as Undercover Bromance, because in this one, it got a little melodramatic, and there was a lot of family trauma and family drama that I felt kind of took over the story and changed the characters in ways that I didn't feel was natural to the story. Country music's golden boy, Colton Wheeler, felt the most perfect harmony when he was with Gretchen Winthrop. But, Gretchen, by the way, this is why I read it, was dating Mac at the beginning of this book. Obviously, she's not anymore. But for her, it was a love him and leave him situation. A year later, Colton is struggling to push his music forward in a new direction. If it wasn't about to be the most magical time of the year, and if not for the support of the Bromance Book Club, he'd be wallowing in self-pity. It's hard for immigration attorney Gretchen not to feel a little Scroogeous about the excess of Christmas when her clients are scrambling to afford their rent. And I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to tell you, I've got a big glass of wine here. So when Gretchen's estranged, wealthy family reaches out with an offer that will allow her to better serve the community, she's unable to say no. Oh, her family is shit, guys. She just needs to convince Colton to be the new face of her family's whiskey brand. No big deal. Colton agrees to consider Gretchen's offer in exchange for 3 dates before Christmas. With the help of the Bromance Book Club, Colton throws himself into the task of proving to her there's a spark between them. But Gretchen and Colton will both need to overcome the ghost of Christmas past to build a future together. So after that one, I was feeling still in the Christmas spirit, and I wanted something light and easy to read. This next book I gave it 3 stars. Spoiler alert, what didn't work for me in this one was the pacing, but everything else worked beautifully. And that is The Merriest Misters by Timothy Janofsky. This is, I believe, the first time I've read a queer romance by a male queer author, or maybe I should say a gay romance by a gay male author. Usually it's female authors who talk about gay couples, either men or women. And so this was a first. I appreciated that and enjoyed that aspect of it. And it's kind of closed-door love scenes, so that's always nice. I always skim through the sex regardless. Patrick Hargrave and Quinn Miller have been married for less than a year, but their once passionate romance is cracking under the pressure of domestic life and a cumbersome mortgage. That's until Christmas Eve, when Patrick wakes Quinn up with a confession. I think I killed a man. And here is where it comes out that this is kind of a take on the movie, The Santa Claus. But it's a unique take, and I loved that aspect of it. Quinn realizes the burglar Patrick knocked out is none other than Mr. Claus himself. Instructed by a harried elf to don the enchanted cloak and take up the reins of the reindeer-guided sleigh on the roof, Quinn and Patrick save Christmas. But as the sun rises the next morning, the sleigh brings them back to the North Pole instead of New Jersey, and they're in for a massive shock. The couple must assume the roles of Santa Claus and the first ever merriest Mister, or Christmas will be canceled permanently. With Christmas and their marriage on the line, Patrick and Quinn agree to stay together for one more year. Can running a toy shop together save their relationship? This is where this blurb goes off. They're not running a toy shop together. It's much more detailed than that, and it's not... That bothers me. Anywho. Save their relationship, or will Patrick and Quinn be stuffing coal in each other's stockings come next Christmas? Spoiler alert, they weren't, but it was close. It's always got to be close if there's a rom-com. There's got to be some sort of tension. And there was. But I really enjoyed it. Again, the pacing felt a little slow to me, but I did finish it in one night, and it's 300 some odd pages, so obviously it wasn't that slow. And that is me wrapping it up because I have had a long day and didn't get to this until later. So I'm going to take my glass of wine, pick up my next book, and relax. And if you've made it this far, as always, thank you for sticking with me on my journey, and happy reading.